Hey guys, Llama here, and today we're back with another Gundam Gunpla model kit review. And today, oh boy, today, oh, we're taking a look at the Freedom. I can't see, he's in front of it. The Freedom Gundam Z.A.F.T Mobile Suit ZGMF-X10A. What the fuck? And as you can see, this box is bigger than my entire fucking recording setup. So we're just gonna yeet that out of here. As always, before we go over the figure itself, we're gonna go with the stuff that came with. So, of course, it comes with this big ol' instruction book full of It also comes with this garbage. Yeah. This figure comes with a lot of stuff. So, we're gonna go over that first. So, this figure comes with these. I have no earthly clue where these actually go. They were not in the instructions, so I don't know anything about these, so fuck that. We got this, which is a posability stand adapter, so you can pose it and stuff. You also get two splayed hands, two fists, one of these open palmed grabby hands, and two hands that have articulated thumbs, one with a trigger finger, which is currently on the figure. You also get two of these blade lightsabers, which these saber effects plug into and look awesome in. It also comes with this gun, however, the effect does not fit in there, which is a little bit unfortunate. Here's the gun. This little bit here rotates, and this clip can come down. Other than that, that's all the articulation for that. It also comes with fucking sticker. Also, whatever this is, I have no clue. It's not like a sticker sheet. It's a different material and nothing peels. So I honestly have no idea what this is. I mean, it looks like it's some kind of alternate decals, but I have no idea how they work. So it also comes with this little boyo right here, which is the pilot of the mobile suit. You can't really see it. Get my light in here a little better. There he is, little person in there. Very nicely molded. No stickers or anything for this guy. You're just supposed to paint him, and of course, I didn't. I might at some point, but as of right now, I have not. But he's included. Also included is this flight stand here, which has this little hook up here that lets you hook on to the jetpack of the figure. But of course, if you don't want that, you could take that off and just have that clip. And if you want to have a different way of displaying him, then you can't. The arm on this display stand does pop up and move a little bit, depending on what angle you want it to be at. You can lock it in place, and that's about it for that. Here are those hands that are already on the figure with the posable thumb. The opposite one on the right hand has the trigger finger and the opposable thumb. And how you switch hands out is you just pop the hand off via the ball joint, just sleep, and you come in here and you just pull the top half of the hand out. Pick whatever hand it is that you want, and just use this little peg and plug it into the hole, and now you have your other hand. A little side note before we actually get into anything else about this figure. It is extremely back heavy due to an attachment which is currently on it that can detach, and we'll talk about that later in the video. For size comparison, here we have my past 3 Gunpla reviews. We have RX-78-2 high grade, the MS-06 Zaku 2 high grade, and Grimgird. Okay, no one's given me a fucking clue on how you actually pronounce that, so how am I supposed to... Okay, before we get to posability of the figure, we're going to get into the accessories and how to apply them to the figure. So, for the gun here, you can't put it in any other hand except for the one that comes with the trigger finger, and the only one with the trigger finger is the right hand. You cannot interchange it with the left hand because the only one that's molded for it is the left hand. Now, to put the gun in, right hand, god damn it. The way you put it into the hand is you rotate this thumb on this ball joint out of the way, you unplug this hand right here, you come in here with the gun itself, and you slip it into the hand, and that will peg into place. And then after that, you plug the hand back on, and then rotate the thumb around so it has a better grip on the gun. And there you have the gun in the hand, and then you just pop the hand back on that ball joint. The same type of deal goes with the swords. You're going to want to pop a hand off via the ball joint, move the thumb out of the way, take this off, get one of your swords, and there's a little hole and a little tab, and you're just going to plug it in like so, pop the hand back into there, and then move the thumb around, and then pop the hand back on, and now he's holding the sword. And speaking of swords, there is a way to have these on the figure without him wielding them. The way you do that is you pop these off. These don't go anywhere. They just sort of fall off into the distance. But on the figure, on his hips, there are little clips here. You just take them and you just lay those in there and pop them in. And now you have him having the swords on his hips, and he can just chill out with those. God fucking... Why is the backpack so heavy? If you remember, like the Zaku and the RX reviews, they have a little clip on their butt that you could plug the sword onto, so he could carry it in his regular mode without wielding it. How you do that is you move these out of the way, and he too has a little clip here, and it's kind of hard to see. It's just a little hole rather than something that like pops out, but there's a little peg here, and you just plug that on there. It's a little difficult to get plugged in when you have the swords on, so if you want to do it, you're gonna have to slide the swords or sword hilts rather a little farther forward just to give that clearance. But then once that's on there, it does stay until the wings run into it, guys. If you give it enough clearance, it will stay. But if you do bump into it, most likely it will fall off. Finally, we can get to the figure and its features. So, you probably noticed this. Now, this is just an attachment. It can actually come off. To take it off, all you want to do is grab it by the top and bottom, and then wiggle it and pull straight back, and it'll pop off. After you do that, there's a bit of an ugly bit here, and in order to fill that, what you do is you pop this piece off of the stand that I mentioned earlier, and this will actually go on his back. I gotta remember how it goes on. It goes on somehow. You need the wings to be on when you do this. This little piece will slide up into here like that, and that is what allows you to clip it into the stand and get flight poses. Like I showed before, this whole thing is removable, and I am going to remove it just for this one bit so that I can properly show off all the articulation without having to deal with the weight of those wings. So, the articulation for this figure is pretty good. You got a ball joint in the head. You got up and down. Oh, let's take these off. The little handles. But this shoulder pad moves up and down for clearance. The shoulder itself has a little joint in here so it could go up further. You got rotation up here in the bicep. You got double bend at the elbow. You got that ball joint. Oop. Not hand. You got that ball joint. Fucking... The thumb got in the way of putting it back on, so now I have to sit here and put the hand back in, and then put the thumb on, and then put it back in the thing, and then you can get that ball joint. And then after that, you have joints on this shield here. You got a rotation back here, and a hinge here, like so. The shield just plugs into the arm via a post and a hole back here. But if you want to go the other route, you can fold this little handle here down and have him hold it, rather than it being on his arm. So, other articulation, you got a double crunch, one in the upper torso here and one in the waist. Rotation in the waist. The skirts here, of course, are on ball joints so they can move out of the way. This is on a hinge, and it hinges up and down. It's a double hinge. These little sections here are really cool. I'll get to those in a second. So if you move these out of the way on that double hinge, you can see you have rotation at the hip as well as a hinge out. Double hinge so that you can bring the legs even farther down, and they can't really kick forward or backward unless you have them up here. If you have it down like this, it interferes and it doesn't work. So if you want to get a kick forward or backwards, you're going to have to do that. The back skirt here, the butt flap, is also on a double hinge, so you can move that out of the way and get the leg to go further back. Rotation at the upper thigh, bend at the knee, double bend, and rotation at the foot because it's on a ball joint, as well as this really good hinge and a little bit of pivot. Now, earlier I did say that I would get to these later, and that's because these are sort of a bit of a special feature-esque thing. These little hip skirts here actually transform. How you do that is you take this back part and you rotate it out like that. You take this front part and you rotate it all the way down and then move this up and forward. And now you have this big old hip gun, and both of these can actually do that. So you have these big old hip guns that come out, and you can shoot people with those. These little armor bits down here are also on a little bit of a rotation, so when you go up and down, it is free of blockage. But these here are not the only sort of special things that this guy can do. He also has a compartment right up here, a little cockpit in the chest, and it can open. And how you do that is you just bring it up like that and then pull forward and down, and that reveals a pilot and a teeny tiny cockpit seat in there. Can't really see it right now, but if I use a light and I shine it in there, you'll be able to see that there is indeed a little pilot sitting in there. He's got his little hands and everything. He's just chilling out in that cockpit. Let's fold that back up and let's attach the main accessory onto him. So to put the wings back on after you've taken them off, just reverse what you did If you want to put the wings back on, reverse what you did when taking them off. So just plug it in straight. There's a little hole back there with this peg, and you just plug it on in, and that's how you get them back on. These wings do have a fair bit of articulation by themselves. On the wings, you have a little bit of a rotation in here. It's really tight though. You got hinge, so you could fold the wings back as I did earlier, or fold them out. Now, as well as all of that, the wings also can spread. So, how this is built, there are two separate sections, a front and a back. You're going to want to rotate the front section first, and then after that you could rotate the next layer of the front and then the next layer before that until you have it all sprawled out, and then do that the same way with the other side, and you now have your wings fully sprawled. Now these wings are huge, very big, take up a lot of space, so I tend to not make them this big. I just have them folded up. But another thing you could do with them is up here, you could just pull down this little piece here if you want more than you already have with the wings. Then of course you could just collapse them all in like so, and then fold them back and down, and now they're nice and tidy and out of the way. Once more. Now back to that display stand from earlier. If we just pop him on there, it doesn't really clip in, it sort of just rests on there, but when you have the whole weight of the figure on it, it's not gonna fall off, so it'll be fine. And of course, while you're in this mode, you could sprawl the wings out. Oh, the camera! He's so freaking big, the camera fell over. Yeah. Sprawl these wings out. Jeez. There's so much weight to these damn things. Anyway, once you have them in God mode, you can pose him in any midair pose you would like. And of course, he looks great in aerial poses. Anyway, guys, that's about it for this video. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button down below to show me that you did. And as always, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you don't miss out on any new content from the channel. And I'll see you guys later.